Good morning. Before you dive into today's tasks and responsibilities, let's pause and breathe. Starting our day isn't just about waking up, it's about setting an intention, choosing how we want to show up, and reminding ourselves of what matters most. Each morning, we have a chance to recalibrate, to direct our energy toward what we value, and to take small, purposeful steps forward. The truth is, the day is going to demand things of you at home, at work, in every role you play. But what you bring to those demands is entirely up to you. Will you bring your truest self? Will you choose courage over comfort? Will you show up with kindness, especially toward yourself? Your energy is one of your most valuable resources, and it's finite. Every day, you have a limited amount to give. When you're intentional with it, you're respecting both your limits and your potential. Being intentional isn't about rationing yourself out or holding back. It's about knowing where to direct your focus and attention. So you're expending energy on the things that add value to your life and align with your goals. We often fall into the habit of letting our energy get drained by distractions, trivial tasks, or even other people's expectations. Without realizing it, we start saying yes to requests or responsibilities that don't serve us, and that can leave us feeling depleted and sometimes resentful. To be intentional means asking ourselves, is this worth my time, my focus, my spirit? Because each moment of our day is a choice. Start by identifying your priorities, what truly matters to you, what will move you forward, not just in work, but in your overall well-being, what lights you up and gives you a sense of purpose. The more we focus on what brings value and joy, the less we're affected by trivial things that don't add meaning. It's about directing your energy toward actions that nourish you and help you grow, not just fill up your schedule. Being intentional also means creating boundaries. Protecting your energy doesn't make you selfish, it keeps you strong. When you say no to something that's not in line with your values, you're saying yes to yourself and to what genuinely matters. Think about it this way, every time you give energy to something, you're investing a part of yourself. And just like any investment, you want a return that aligns with your vision for your life. Guard your time and attention carefully. And don't be afraid to pull back when something isn't serving your purpose. This isn't to say that you won't face obstacles or challenging days, but when you've chosen where to place your energy, those challenges are more manageable and you can face them with resilience and clarity. When you start each day with this focus, you not only conserve your energy, you build up a reserve of strength that fuels you for the long term. So be intentional with your energy today. Let it be directed by your values, not by others' expectations. By doing this, you're stepping fully into your power and living with purpose. Make your energy count, because how you spend it today will shape your tomorrow. Setting boundaries is one of the most powerful and compassionate things you can do for yourself. Boundaries are not about keeping people out, they're about creating space for you to thrive, honoring your limits, and protecting what's important to you. When you set boundaries, you're making a choice to prioritize your well-being, values, and goals over the demands and expectations of others. It's about recognizing that you deserve to have a say in how you spend your time, energy, and attention. Boundaries can feel challenging to establish, especially if you're used to putting others' needs before your own. Many of us feel a sense of guilt or fear that people will see us as selfish or unkind if we say no. But boundaries aren't about rejecting others, they're about respecting ourselves. Think of boundaries as the healthy space where you can show up as the best version of yourself without resentment or burnout. When you set boundaries that support you, you're not only protecting your energy, but also ensuring you have more to give to the people and activities that truly matter. Boundaries are also a way of communicating your needs. They tell others, this is what I can offer, and this is what I need to stay balanced. For instance, setting a boundary might look like carving out quiet time for yourself each morning so you can start the day feeling centered, or it might be letting colleagues know you won't be responding to emails outside of work hours. So you have time to recharge. These choices allow you to show up more fully and joyfully in all areas of your life. Boundaries don't limit your relationships, they enhance them because they allow you to engage with others from a place of wholeness. It's important to remember that boundaries are not rigid walls, they're flexible and can evolve with you. What you need in one season of life may change in another. Setting boundaries is a continuous practice of checking in with yourself, noticing where you feel drained or overwhelmed and adjusting accordingly. Think of boundaries as a way to listen to yourself and respect what you hear. If you feel exhausted from a certain commitment, it might be a sign that it's time to set or reinforce a boundary there. Creating boundaries that support you also requires the courage to say no when necessary. Saying no can feel uncomfortable, but it's an essential part of honoring yourself. No doesn't have to be harsh, it can be kind and firm. It can sound like I'd love to help, but I need to focus on my own projects right now, or thank you for inviting me, but I'm going to rest this weekend. When you say no to something that doesn't align with your needs or values, you're saying yes to yourself, your goals, and your peace. A big part of setting boundaries is also understanding that you're not responsible for others' reactions. Some people may not understand or respect your boundaries at first, especially if they're used to you always being available. That's okay. Boundaries are about taking ownership of your life, not managing others' expectations. If someone feels disappointed or even upset, remember that their feelings are valid, but they don't determine your worth or the validity of your choices. Respecting yourself doesn't mean you're letting others down. It means you're lifting yourself up to meet your own needs and priorities. Boundaries empower you to show up authentically. They allow you to say, this is who I am, and this is what I need to be the best version of myself. When you set boundaries, you're making a commitment to value your own well-being. You're choosing to cultivate a life that honors both your responsibilities and your right to joy and peace. Boundaries that support you are a gift you give yourself so you can be stronger, more present, and more fulfilled. So as you move through your day, take note of where your energy flows. Listen to where you feel stretched thin or where you're carrying unnecessary weight. Those are the places where boundaries are needed. Trust yourself to create the space you need to grow, recharge, and live a life that truly supports who you are. Boundaries are not limitations, they're your pathway to freedom, resilience, and self-respect. Embracing vulnerability is one of the most courageous acts we can undertake. Vulnerability isn't about weakness, it's about showing up as we are, without the need for masks or perfection. When we embrace vulnerability, we're allowing ourselves to be seen in our full humanity, our strengths, our struggles, our hopes, and our fears. It's the willingness to say, here I am, imperfections and all, and to step into life fully without letting the fear of judgment or failure hold us back. Many of us grow up believing that vulnerability is a sign of fragility, that showing any softness or imperfection will lead to rejection or disappointment. So we put up walls, try to appear tough, or work tirelessly to present ourselves as flawless. But vulnerability isn't about breaking down, it's about breaking open. It's about creating space within ourselves to be real, to be honest, and to let go of the armor that we think protects us, but in reality holds us back. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we invite connection. True connection doesn't come from people seeing our perfect moments, it comes from people seeing us in our messy, authentic moments and choosing to stand with us anyway. Think about the relationships you cherish most. They're likely built on a foundation of openness, trust, and shared vulnerability. The times we're willing to say, I'm struggling or I don't have it all figured out, are the times when we make space for others to step in and meet us where we are. Vulnerability is the glue of human connection. It's what turns acquaintances into friends and friends and friends into family. Embracing vulnerability also means letting go of the need to control everything. Control is often our response to the discomfort of uncertainty. We want guarantees, assurances that everything will work out as planned. But life doesn't come with guarantees, and holding on too tightly can make us feel trapped. Vulnerability teaches us that sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is release control and trust the process. It means being okay with not knowing every answer, with taking risks that might lead to failure, and with having the courage to pick ourselves up and try again if things don't go our way. When we embrace vulnerability, we open ourselves to growth. Growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone, it happens when we stretch beyond it into new experiences and challenges. Vulnerability is what allows us to learn, to adapt, and to push past the limits we once set for ourselves. It's saying yes to opportunities that feel scary, yes to feedback that might be hard to hear, and yes to the possibility of change. By letting ourselves be vulnerable, we give ourselves permission to be in progress, to make mistakes, and to learn from them. Being vulnerable also means acknowledging our feelings, even when they're uncomfortable. We live in a culture that often tells us to keep it together, to power through, and to hide anything that might make us seem fragile. But ignoring our emotions doesn't make them go away, it just buries them, and they find their way out eventually, sometimes in ways we don't expect. Embracing vulnerability means making room for our emotions, honoring them, and letting them be part of our journey. It's okay to feel sadness, disappointment, or even fear. When we allow ourselves to experience these emotions, we build resilience. We learn that we can move through discomfort without losing ourselves. Vulnerability also helps us build empathy. When we embrace our own vulnerability, we become more compassionate toward others. We understand what it feels like to be scared, to feel exposed, to be in pain, and that understanding allows us to connect with others on a deeper level. Empathy is born from the recognition that we're all in this together, that each of us has moments of struggle and self-doubt. When we embrace vulnerability, we're creating a space where others feel safe to be vulnerable too. And that builds a culture of openness, trust, and support. Choosing kindness over judgment is a practice that has the power to transform not only our relationships, but our lives as a whole. In a world where it's often easier and more automatic to judge, kindness requires intentionality, patience, and empathy. When we choose kindness over judgment, we're making a conscious choice to see the humanity in others, to understand rather than to criticize, and to extend grace even when we don't fully understand someone's actions or beliefs. It's a commitment to creating a ripple effect of compassion and understanding that reaches far beyond ourselves. Judgment is a natural response, often born out of our own insecurities or limited perspectives. When we judge others, we're often projecting our fears, biases, or unmet expectations onto them. It can make us feel momentarily superior or more in control. But in the long run, judgment distances us from others. It closes off possibilities for connection, and it creates walls rather than bridges. Judgment reinforces the idea that I am right and you are wrong, which only serves to separate us, breeding resentment and misunderstanding. Kindness, on the other hand, is about breaking down those barriers and choosing connection over division. Choosing kindness doesn't mean we ignore boundaries or that we accept behavior that's harmful. Kindness is not passive or permissive, it's active and intentional. It's saying, I will see you as a person, not as a set of actions or a single mistake. Kindness allows us to see beyond the surface, to recognize that every person has a story, a history, and struggles we may never fully know or understand. When we choose kindness, we're acknowledging that, just like us, everyone is carrying their own burdens, dealing with challenges that might not be visible, and doing the best they can with what they have. One of the first steps in choosing kindness over judgment is recognizing our own biases and assumptions. Every one of us has biases, ways of seeing the world shaped by our experiences, upbringing, and social conditioning. It's natural to make quick judgments based on what we see or hear, but it's important to pause and question those initial reactions. When we take a step back, we open the door to curiosity instead of condemnation. We allow ourselves to ask questions. What might this person be going through? Is there something beneath the surface that I'm not seeing? By shifting our perspective, we move away from snap judgments and toward a more compassionate understanding. Kindness over judgment also means extending grace both to ourselves and to others. We're all human, And that means we're all imperfect. We make mistakes, we have bad days, and we sometimes say or do things we wish we hadn't. If we want others to give us the benefit of the doubt, we must be willing to offer the same. Extending grace doesn't mean we excuse harmful behavior, but it does mean we allow space for growth, learning, and forgiveness. It's saying, I see your humanity and I believe you have the capacity to grow. This kind of kindness fosters resilience and encourages positive change. When we choose kindness over judgment, we also give ourselves permission to let go of resentment and anger. Judgment often comes with a heavy emotional weight. Holding on to anger or disappointment toward others can drain our energy and cloud our perspective. But kindness allows us to release that burden. It gives us peace by reminding us that we don't have to carry grudges or resentment. We can choose to approach others with an open heart, which ultimately leads to a lighter, more fulfilling life for ourselves. Choosing kindness over judgment can also deepen our relationships and create a foundation of trust. When people feel that they are accepted and valued, they're more likely to open up, to be vulnerable, and to connect on a meaningful level. Kindness tells others, you're safe here. It says, I won't judge you for your struggles. I'll stand beside you. And then this builds a sense of belonging and fosters loyalty, empathy, and respect. In a world where so many people feel isolated or misunderstood, this kind of kindness can be life-changing. It's a reminder that we are never alone in our experiences and that there are people who will see us, understand us, and support us no matter what. Kindness over judgment is a practice that starts within. If we're constantly judging ourselves, finding fault in everything we do, or feeling inadequate, it becomes almost impossible to extend kindness to others. Self-kindness is the foundation that allows us to approach the world with a compassionate heart. When we forgive ourselves, accept our own flaws, and treat ourselves with respect, we create a space within that can hold compassion for others. We learn to let go of the need for perfection. And we start to see that worthiness isn't tied to achievements, appearance, or external validation. By practicing self-kindness, we become more open to the humanity in everyone around us. Kindness over judgment also has a powerful impact on our mental and emotional well-being. Judgment creates stress, isolation, and negativity, while kindness promotes peace, connection, and joy. Studies have shown that acts of kindness release oxytocin, the love hormone, which boosts our mood and strengthens social bonds. When we're kind to others, we feel a sense of purpose and fulfillment. Kindness lifts us up. It reminds us of the beauty and goodness in the world, even in difficult times. When we choose kindness, we're not just helping others, we're helping ourselves to live happier, more meaningful lives. In choosing kindness over judgment, we're not just making a difference in our own lives, we're contributing to a more compassionate and understanding world. Small acts of kindness, whether it's offering a smile, listening without interrupting, or simply holding space for someone to be themselves, can create a ripple effect that touches countless lives. Imagine if every person chose kindness in moments when judgment felt easier. Imagine the healing, the bridges built, and the sense of unity we could create. So as you go about your day, consider this: the next time you feel the urge to judge, pause, take a breath, and choose kindness instead. Challenge yourself to see the person behind the behavior, the story behind the struggle. Choose to be a source of encouragement rather than criticism, to extend empathy rather than judgment. It's a choice that may feel small in the moment, but over time, it has the power to transform you and the world around you. By choosing kindness over judgment, you're choosing a path that fosters peace, connection, and a life rich with meaning. Taking breaks is an essential practice for sustaining our energy, focus, and overall well-being. In a world that often glorifies busyness and nonstop productivity, taking time to pause can feel almost counterintuitive. We tell ourselves we should just push through, get it all done, and keep moving forward. But the truth is, our bodies and minds aren't built for constant activity. We need moments of rest to recharge, to reflect, and to restore our energy reserves. Taking breaks is not a luxury, it's a necessity that allows us to operate at our best over the long haul. When we work without breaks, we may feel productive in the short term, but eventually exhaustion catches up. Our focus begins to wane, our creativity dries up, and even simple tasks start to feel overwhelming. Over time, this grind can lead to burnout, where we feel emotionally, physically, and mentally drained. Taking breaks helps prevent this by giving us the space to step back, breathe, and let our minds and bodies reset. Breaks don't have to be long. Even a few minutes of stepping away from our work can make a meaningful difference in our energy and effectiveness. Taking breaks also allows us to gain perspective. When we're deeply immersed in a task, it's easy to get caught up in the details and lose sight of the bigger picture. A short break can create the mental distance we need to see things more clearly, to step back and assess our progress, and to approach our work with fresh eyes. Often it's during these pauses that insights come to us. When we allow our minds to wander or shift focus, we give space for creativity and problem solving to emerge in ways that aren't always possible when we're in go mode. Breaks are not just for the mind, they're essential for the body as well. Many of us spend long hours sitting hunched over desks or screens, and this takes a toll on our physical health. Regular breaks allow us to stretch, move, and release tension that builds up in our muscles and joints. Physical movement, even something as simple as a quick walk, has been shown to improve circulation, reduce stress, and boost our mood. Taking care of our physical health isn't a distraction from our work, it enhances our ability to show up fully and sustainably over time. Incorporating breaks into our day also improves our ability to manage stress. Stress is a natural part of life, but when we push ourselves without pause, stress can become chronic, affecting our mental and emotional well-being. Taking breaks gives us a chance to recalibrate, to process our thoughts and emotions, and to release built-up tension. Even a few moments of deep breathing or quiet reflection can help us return to our tasks with a clearer, calmer mind. These small moments of self-care are acts of resilience that protect us from being overwhelmed. Taking breaks also strengthens our relationships, both personal and professional. When we're constantly working, we may neglect connections with friends, family, or colleagues. Breaks give us the opportunity to reconnect, to check in with those around us, and to remind ourselves of the support networks that enrich our lives. These interactions can provide perspective, comfort, and even a boost of energy that recharges us in ways solitary breaks cannot. In the workplace, taking breaks with colleagues can build camaraderie, create a sense of community, and foster an environment of mutual support. Moreover, breaks teach us to listen to our bodies and minds. Often we ignore the signs of fatigue or stress, convincing ourselves that we should just push through. But when we take breaks, we're practicing mindfulness and self-awareness. We learn to recognize when we're reaching our limits and to respond with compassion. This practice of tuning into ourselves helps us build a more sustainable relationship with work and life, one that respects our needs rather than overriding them. Taking breaks becomes a form of self-care, a reminder that we deserve rest and renewal. Taking breaks also reinforces the idea that productivity isn't about working more, it's about working smarter. Studies show that people who take regular breaks are often more productive and engaged than those who try to power through without stopping. Breaks enhance our ability to concentrate, making us more efficient and effective. They allow us to return to our tasks with renewed focus and enthusiasm, leading to higher quality work. By embracing breaks as a part of our routine, we're acknowledging that true productivity involves balance, not constant effort. Staying connected to your purpose is one of the most powerful guiding principles you can embrace. Purpose gives meaning to our lives and direction to our efforts. It's the reason behind what we do, a North Star that keeps us grounded and aligned, even in the face of challenges and setbacks. When we know our purpose, we have something to hold on to that transcends the noise of daily pressures, the opinions of others, and even our own fears. Purpose isn't about a destination, it's a journey that invites us to live with intention and focus on what truly matters to us. In the fast-paced world we live in, it's easy to get caught up in routines, responsibilities, and the demands of work and family life. We can find ourselves going through the motions, checking off boxes, but feeling unfulfilled. Staying connected to your purpose is about remembering why you started, keeping in mind what lights you up and makes you feel alive. Purpose acts as an anchor, something we can return to whenever we feel overwhelmed or lost. It's a source of strength and resilience that helps us persevere when the path is uncertain. To stay connected to your purpose, it's important to reflect regularly on what you value and what you want to contribute to the world. Purpose isn't a static thing, it can evolve as we grow, and sometimes we need to revisit it to ensure it still resonates. Set aside time to ask yourself meaningful questions. What impact do I want to make? What legacy do I want to leave? Who do I want to help or uplift through my actions? By tuning into these questions, you're recentering on the core of who you are and why you do what you do. Purpose is also what sustains us during times of hardship. When we encounter obstacles, it's easy to question ourselves and wonder if the struggle is worth it. But when we're deeply connected to our purpose, we're reminded that the journey is bigger than the immediate challenges. Purpose gives us perspective. It shifts our focus from the discomfort of the moment to the larger vision we're working toward. It reminds us that growth often involves discomfort, and that setbacks are part of the process. Purpose makes it possible to see these moments as stepping stones rather than barriers. Staying connected to your purpose also enhances your relationships. When you're clear on what you stand for, you're more likely to attract like-minded individuals who resonate with your values. Purpose fosters authenticity, allowing you to build connections based on shared vision and mutual respect. It's easier to find alignment with others when you're anchored in your own direction, and it helps you communicate with clarity and intention. Knowing your purpose allows you to show up fully, bringing your true self to the relationships you nurture, whether personal or professional. Purpose helps you make decisions with greater confidence. When faced with choices, big or small, we're often pulled in different directions by external influences, fears, or immediate gratification. But when we're connected to our purpose, we have a compass that helps us navigate these moments with clarity. Purpose makes it easier to say yes to things that align with our values and no to things that detract from them. It simplifies decision-making by giving us a framework rooted in our core beliefs and aspirations, helping us avoid distractions and stay on track. Staying connected to your purpose requires mindfulness and commitment. It's about creating daily habits and routines that remind you of your mission, whether that's setting aside time for personal reflection, journaling about your goals, or keeping a vision board. Small reminders help keep purpose alive, especially when life feels busy or chaotic. These habits can act as anchors, grounding you in what matters most and helping you bring purpose into the mundane, everyday actions. Purpose isn't something you just think about, it's something you live in the way you speak, the choices you make, and the energy you bring to everything you do. Purpose is not something we find once and then move on from. It's something we cultivate and nurture. It requires listening to our intuition, being open to growth, and paying attention to the whispers of our inner voice. Sometimes purpose will call us to change course, to let go of what no longer serves us, or to take bold steps into the unknown. By staying connected to it, we give ourselves permission to evolve, to redefine success, and to pursue fulfillment rather than mere achievement. Purpose is a journey that grows with us, deepens as we learn more about ourselves, and brings a sense of richness to everything we do. In the end, staying connected to your purpose is about choosing a life that's aligned with who you are and what you stand for. It's about embracing the journey with all its highs and lows, guided by a sense of meaning that fuels your resilience, shapes your relationships, and lights the way forward. When you live with purpose, every action, every choice, and every interaction becomes an opportunity to live authentically, to build a legacy that reflects your deepest values, and to contribute to something greater than yourself. So hold on to that purpose, nurture it, and let it be the force that drives you each and every day.